Now, the National Democratic Party is asking Ghanaians to disregard media reports suggesting the withdrawal of its presidential candidate, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, from the upcoming December 7 polls. The party has been addressing a news conference. Let's go live to the party headquarters, where the news conference is currently underway.
I've wished for the cadres of the revolution to support a running mate who edited and produced a foreword of a book that desecrates his legacy, and by extension, the legacy of all those who sacrificed for our nation? The answer is no. Would we have wished for Mahama to continue leading the party and driving it further away from the principles and values on which he built the party? The answer is no. JJ, in an interview with Kweku Sechiado on Asasi Radio on 12 July 2020, categorically stated that he voted for his wife, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, in the 2016 presidential election. When he was alive, he chose not to be part of John Mahama's 2020 campaign, and it would be disingenuous to seek to make him a part of the campaign now that he's gone. Much more so to link his funeral to the same party's activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 elections are due in a matter of weeks, but JJ is gone. However, ask yourself as a cadre or a comrade, ask yourself as you mourn his passing, ask yourself as someone who shared the pain that Mahama and his supporters inflicted on JJ when he was alive. Ask yourself as someone who believes in what JJ stood for. Would JJ want to vote for a candidate that he thought was not fit to lead the party that he, JJ, founded? As a matter of fact, John Rawlings was eager to see Mahama lose in the 2020 elections because he believed Mahama and his cohorts had departed from the very ideals of probity and accountability upon which the NDC was formed. When Mahama was elected as the flag bearer of the NDC for the 2020 general elections, JJ was blunt about Mahama's intentions. According to JJ, Mahama's intentions are not to win the 2020 general elections. His intentions are to simply hijack the NDC with his money in an attempt to show up again as the party's flag bearer in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we can foresee NDC losing this election, and 2021-2022 ushering in a new era for the soul and control of the NDC. That fight is inevitable. John Mahama has ironically themed his 2020 campaign a rescue mission. This is ironic because many die-hard activists who mean well for the NDC are waiting for an opportunity after the John Mahama's defeat 2 weeks from now to begin in earnest the mission to rescue the NDC from John Mahama and the Ahoys. Our message to all those true Rawlings loyalists and disgruntled disciples of probity and accountability is this: join the NDP now, and let's work together to honor what JJ believed in. Ladies and gentlemen, clearly, if you are a true believer in JJ, you cannot honor his memory by choosing a candidate who, together with backers, sowed discord between JJ and the party he founded and worked hard to discredit Mrs. Rawlings, his lifelong defender, partner, counselor, pillar, friend, confidant, comrade, and soulmate. As promised, we will call you again to update you on our presidential bid. But definitely, we will not glorify our detractors. Finally, we would like to the entire members of the Rawlings, Aguchi, and other affiliated families in Accra and Keta to know that they are in our thoughts and prayers. We wish to thank them and his wife and children for sharing JJ Rawlings with the whole country and the NDP. We thank him for his support for our party. Our final message goes to Mrs. Rawlings. We say stay strong as JJ would have liked you to be. As always, his soul will continue to protect you. Thank you. God bless you. Long live the legacy of Rawlings. Long live the revolution. Long live our leader. Long live the NDP. Thank you very much. My name, I'm Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, the General Secretary of NDP. Hello? My name is Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, the General Secretary of National Democratic Party. But as a matter of fact, NDP, we have General Secretaries with the title Secretary General. So I am indeed the Secretary General of the National Democratic Party. Thank you very much.
So you're still here on Election Brief, here on your election headquarters. Just gone by is the General Secretary of the NDP, Alhaji Frimpong, there addressing the media. And the major thing that came up, because earlier today, there were speculations that the flag bearer of the NDP, that's the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, was expected to step aside following the demise of her husband, Jerry John Rawlings. But the party has just addressed a news conference debunking these claims, saying that is not true, it's totally false. Mr. Frimpong has also been speaking about Mr. Mahama's posturing, John Dramani Mahama's posturing. He says he has described it as hypocritical, that Mr. Mahama's posture about the former President Rawlings after his death. And he says that Mr. Mahama is trying to exploit the death of the former president. But that's how we end Election Brief here. But we will go back to the Alisa Hotel where the NDP is addressing that press conference.
Mother of the NDC will reconsider her position, the position she had about the party when the co-founder, in your own words, was alive. Will she now reconsider her decision to, change her own perception and posturing towards the opposition NDC? My final question, you made allegations about the former president sponsoring videos by one Calvin Taylor to damage the reputation of the late former president. Would you mind sharing with us the evidence that you have to support this claim that you have just made on national television? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So please, look, before we proceed, there is one thing that we have to do before we come back to the questions. We have our local language stations also peaking. So we have to summarize everything in our local language, that's Tree. Then we move to the questions. I hope we are okay. Yeah, okay. So Alhaji, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me first answer whether the flag bearer will contest. In line with tradition, the very observation that somebody made, that according to whether account tradition or whatever, you expect a widow to bow out, because of the demise of her spouse. We think that was not the case, but rather you don't subject. Politics is an active process. We do not want, we've stated in our opening, in our intro, that the issue of whether or not she was going to contest does not even arise. If you know too well. But you don't also go before a widow, and carry out what is circulating in public, and have a conversation with her. So don't you worry, we all live in Ghana and we live to see. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we said she was the mother and the midwife. Nobody will contest that fact. But like political parties, unfortunately, are not like, domiciles that you build so that if the occupants are misbehaving, you just boot them out. political party laws allow like-minded people to continue to build it up. And that is what happened. But fortunately, or unfortunately, that is the issue we are talking about now. The issue is that the late president, as the founder of the nation, is not contested. And the stability that we've enjoyed for 28 years is not also to be looked upon, as something that is of fun. It is indeed a priceless achievement for the nation. But you see, as in every ideal, you always have what you call revisionists. The revisionists may have their purpose. On the broader global scene, I will cite the case of, you remember the former Soviet Union. When the Chinese were accusing them of revisionism, they thought they were very much founded. And in fact, the same revisionism led into the collapse of a very formidable nation called the Soviet Union. So that's what we're talking about. Rawlings' ideals are impregnable and is so important to the nation. So if you have a group of people who will toy with it, I mean, just like all of us in the NDP, we do not want to glorify them. So as to whether they will come back or not, well, since there's an English word called repentance, probably, that's only where we have that possibility, if people can repent, but certainly that would require a lot of purging, and we do not want to put our head to that task. So as to whether she is going to come or not, is another question. Don't worry, the issue of the sponsoring of Kelvin Taylor or whatever, at the appropriate time we'll tell you. I mean, don't mind at all. That is not a big deal. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Alaji. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier on, yes, we need a summary for our local radio stations.
Yeah. I have 4 years for more 8 years and every the tia what you want to say. Your man paying that we fimono. Na who can any young Frank Tuni, Dr. Mrs. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. Ena, I must say, Yeshia, Sa, Trofo, any the Bofo, in Shiamui. The Yakan Tiawan say, Opanino, any Ghana Bedin ye. Wakano kre will be biara William. Ena amase ye kabiman kabia mamu anantio a etoso nan ya ye chichiri no ye mamuin eso mbo bebre ama sabi kan no gabati ku no papa no ba was ku asa na enam se ni trimu pone na dwempa a wodi di yen kan ni ti no enfia dio no wotwe ni porpora dio no wotwe ye nya asomdwe na obi be bisa se sa duro no ye kotin wo he sa ahaba no ye kotin wo he efri ye mampanyi a wonya ne ba bi ko Jerry John Rawlings adwene mu ena ene ye ba be duru ba bi ye duru enti no so obi etoto na ase a na se kra wo to for me ye mampanyi na Akufo Addo esi so kan say kofa baya wodi ye kabi mami kabi amamwe baye Jerry John Rawlings Portugal say founder of the Fourth Republic. It is said also oman panyin bi ehun say kofa baya Fourth Republic ye man panyin Jerry John Rawlings na eni say ye toto nase. But emom ne kan say yo ebi mutri mu po a na omodwe say omone nani nhia efa dufude pe ene niema ekeka ka ho ti no omo toto na se a kopem se omo kan se wo ye volta for kra bosom volta region bosom enti no enya ade a ye som ne biu na mbom se kan kra ne se ampani ampa se ye nya ayibefo ana se volta bosom ebi aba ama oman no anya asomdwe for 28 years na mdu se sa bosom na ka o mfaso na mom iti a watwa mu se bio ye nimsa na onya bosom ena ye bi se bio se enti ye maame a wono so wo gi NDC awo wo bo aboso egi NDC awo wono nso so no se si ani kura firi mu no obeba na emre mu no se wuti amanyoku a enkrofo na ombeba mu no enti se edan a wasi a obeka se wutu na firi enti no se nipa no etwintwa awa ne obeya ne se obeja na sema amano na ne kan se ewiase amaman mu ha akandifo bi enya etimopo ene asempa bi ebedi amanfo bi anim na enam se bio akitafo bi antena anto omo ase a omo toto saa nkrofo no enemu no saa mamu nyina ebugui me disusudu ya bibi oman bi na fe no Russia na Russia na ma no gina pa eye obi ne timopo ne nadwen ena ne edikan enese ankwanko ba se nipa foforo so sorry se bio no odwen ne omoman ho a enka etietia omo so nka oman no kura no nka se bio akwakọ se bebia bibia elimu enti se omanpanyi bi ba na ne timopo eboa oman anye de ya sumdwe a yenya no emfie aduonu enwotwi no enye ade a ewo se yetoto nase na yesaka biom se yamampanyi dada ene nkrofo bi di nkita ho aburuchire se yenidi mampanyi a wanya ne bibia ko na tem ene ho ne manema samokaya o kan se enkola bi afifirisin atenten a omuka wa echen wowo a your friend baby with sharp teeth yamampanyi ekan ene ebi bukura kan se o wo ye kraman a wo bobo no mo achechire no enti na saa nkrofo ya biem ebesan omo achi abeka se ejewu omo usu a na eye sebisebio elisu a omode edada Ghana man na enam se National Democratic Party yen ye ben ye mame Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings ene na hukani a wafiri mu no ntino ye wo enisuade hunu bi a ye ka se omutri mu po a omudi akekere oman no yem nyina ana se yem pese obi betoto nase na emom e wo senso ye hyase na anamompa a wo se yetuo no ne yetu nti revolution ne ba ye no sebisebio na eye yem rantie ne mabawa a ye frɛ kedes ye ne tie ho gu oman nim ekekere revolution no na ye suahunu bebre wom enti ne ye kan se obiara wogi Rawlings edie no emra ba se wodwen ho na wo se sebisebio papa no wodi yaw ansana wo kɔ ne kreachi efa wono ankasa party a wotiye aye National Democratic Congress enti no wo se nyina ye ahweye na oman no enkankro ene nia efata se ye nyina ye boa eye no ye kabom na yebedi National Democratic Party echi because na hokani nyame adom ye bompa ye ma no se nyame entune nkwandem na aboso a ono so wabo a se sia no obepese obekekere oman no obe efensen etu franka amaye party no so no se nyame edini besiye na amagana so ediye edemas.
Thank you very much, Alhaji. Alhaji, before we move on to the questions, you made a statement earlier on in relation to the fake news. By then, most of us did not get the recording. So we will be on cloud 9. If you can please make that statement again so that we can get the recording.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, earlier on, I sought the indulgence of ladies and gentlemen to say that there have been some wild, very unprofessional piece of fake news, in circulation. We understand. We know that was the game of our detractors to seek to scuttle this very conference. But thanks to God, you are all here. We read as follows. Ladies and gentlemen, There was an announcement today on Kasapa FM, including Star FM, owned by Dr. Kwabena Dufour, a leading member of the National Democratic Congress, that, and I quote, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Party, NDP, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, has pulled out of the 2020 presidential elections. That's KasapaFMOnline.com has gathered. The story continued. It's believed that the last-minute consideration is linked to the demise of Konadu's husband, ex-President Jerry John Rawlings, who passed away 2 weeks ago. Reports say the NDP leader has informed the EC of her decision. Meanwhile, the party is scheduled to address a press conference later today. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is fake news in capital letters and should be treated as such. Our leader is grieving and should be allowed to do so in peace. Our presidential candidate has not taken any decision to pull out of the race and has not been in communication with the EC. This is just the latest of the lies that the NDC has heaped on the Rawlingses over the last decade. The question you should be asking is this: why is the NDC panicking now over the candidacy of Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings? Why are they afraid now? It is the ghost of their own misdeeds and maltreatment of the Rawlingses and the due reward that awaits them on December 7th, which is haunting the NDC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, thank you very much, Alhaji Frimpong. We are moving on. George, before you come in, Latif, please make it brief. Then we move on, please. Yeah, just a follow-up question, I guess. Please, brief.
Thank you very much. So it's on the same Kelvin Taylor and the Mahama sponsorship point that you raised. You also spoke about the Ahoys and former President Mahama setting out to, like Kevin Taylor, damage the reputation of the former late president, and today are turning around to be chief mourners. Is that really the case?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me tell you, in the book Working with Rawlings, Working with Rawlings, it is a book full of contradiction and one that was, I think, a man torn between a dilemma. And that is, he recognizes that he was brought into the limelight by J.J. Rawlings, who saw some value in him. That is one. Two, but he described J.J. as not intellectual. He described J.J. as not intellectual. And most of the time, they just heeded him. But in any case, they also believed that it is his vision which was infused into the 1992 Fourth Republican Constitution that had made Ghana stable. And that they cannot deny him that. Are you getting me? So that is one. You're talking about Mama. Mama moved with JJ. He didn't understand JJ. He called him an enigma. We say no. Rawlings was not an enigma. If you don't know Rawlings, he's one individual who exuded profuse humanity. He exuded profuse humanity. And that the hindrance of same made him act in whatever way to let it out. That is the man. So if you move with him for so many years and you do not even read into his character and you call him an enigma, you understand? There are a lot of it. So please, don't let us belabor those points. We've made our points clear and we can go on and on and on. But I don't think we're going to stay here forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Alhaji. Alhaji,
What's it?
Maybe something sound what you.
Yeah, oh yeah. Awesome. What's it?
It's someone who was in
Okay, with a set by set, it's okay. Yes.
You're doing someone who was in and Senate NDP. Also, Openia Wenyani baby called Rawlings Munua. Now, a name of bank specific things in NDP. To honor the legacy of the late Rawlings. Now, of the late President Rawlings. Sorry. Now, we can't add the account. Sabria Waka say NDC for any Ura Mahama, Ubu, and Tiabra or Tiasi. Now, Unyan baby call Afina won a marching annual of Rawlings Nana for NDP for FR Science in the same essay.
Okay, meeting Eddie Raymond Kuma from Agyemang TV. The question I'm Bibusa, your mom penny that I would trim, Rawlings. And now say, now NDC for whom is the president and what is so exercise and now the bank of Fado. Openasem. Inti Genyanti, say, Neba, doctors not Rawlings. Omo yes, NDC for yes, Omo me far quite be aso, Nacolano, Oma Kanashe. And we know can say, I said, baby, all contesting, Crotecoleno, NDC for Miano because of the papa and the mammy. Almost person pushing aside. Yanti and NDP for most miners auntie and Nana. It was very
All right, yeah, we can answer this set of questions and then we'll move on to the next set.
Good. Nietele say, so he asked in P.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So answer in P.
Okay, but that's
the next set will be in English.
Okay. Nietele say, what can say NDP? Yen so die ne ye efa ye mampania wonya ni baby ko sebiu ni nyuma yo a obeye ya ebe danso chain me fa say NDC die no ni America ne say wo hwa afia bato a ye komu yi no say ye tete nia amanfo franka tufo a omo aba what they are coming with, goodies, political goodies. Mema a water free, a straw, mema milk, mema whey. And the issue is that and yes sufficient for leadership. Telling people, say, you know, may no, these are not. And I want us to take a cue from those we call great leaders of this country. They don't come with political goodies. You take the case of Kwame Nkrumah. Oba can say, look, Africa must unite. I mean, as a student of politics, I would say his manifesto was Africa must unite. Now, he did it in fulfillment of that. Rawlings had some kind of a compelling action. He didn't come to Ghana and say, you know, and that is leadership. He was compelled by the real instincts of leadership to catapult himself onto the political arena of this country. No, social justice, integrity, probity, transparency, and accountability. This, for us, is commitment and competence in leadership. And in Yeka. Now, not people who will turn over with other objectives, what we call the nouveau riche. Almost the inclination is different. Such leadership is a pretense and opportunistic, and of course, revisionist. Revisionist because it's not what they are looking at. What Chiaka was okay, they may say. What Chiaka may say. Look at a typical example. I know in 2012, when we were going to election, you have a candidate who says, may the phrase SHS Beba. Memphis said, you know, that was his passion. That was what is in him. He was not in leadership. He was not in leadership. And of course, you know, others also said differently. So a constitution, the constitution says it must be gradual, it must be progressive, and other arguments say, We're talking about leadership of purpose with competence and impassioned vision. And now, at least, you know, that leader who came and had no idea of what was in the past. Like Kwame Nkrumah came and said, Africa must unite. He didn't know what Ghana had in the past. In the same way, when somebody was acting on the imperative of the 1992 Constitution and say, I'll bring free SHS. Now, obviously, gradualist, revisionist, progressive. These are the issues that we're talking about. We're not talking about leadership or political goodies, but at least people who are committed to a cause. Fortunately, people think, say, 1992 Constitution, yes, they want review, they want revision. The proper thing is that because we have not applied ourselves properly to the ideals of Rawlings, it is to say, you know, the 1992 Constitution is remaining into what we are called, into what I call double-ended political puzzle. I'm saying so because a lot of constitutional pundits, you know, have been doing some convolution of writing, legislation as to how to bring about social justice, integrity, probity, transparency, and accountability. At the other far end, how to achieve participatory democracy. It's because you must understand the ideals of the man. You know, in America say, if we have done that, now the heat that we generate every 4 years going into an election will end. And it's more profound than just saying, say, ABC. So we're talking about a philosophical vision of a person, and you need a political party that understands it. It's as simple as that. Not those with nouveau riche tendencies who will just want to be opportunists, you know, come to be revisionists of an ideal. And the NDP definitely will do it differently. We are putting leadership over political goodies, and we think that leadership is sufficient in the provision of political goodies. And in the same style of President Rawlings, when he came, he didn't promise anybody political goodies. But at the end of the day, when electricity, you know, supply in the country was barely 27%, he undertook, you know, the provision of electrification in this country, you know, hitting almost 90%. 90%. These are the ideas that we are talking about. And what we are saying is that it will be very dangerous to leave this country in the hands of revisionists as far as the ideals of President Rawlings is concerned. And we are very passionate about that. And that's the NDP for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alhaji. Thank you very much, Alhaji. Because of time, we have to pick our last set of questions, then we can leave. Thank you very much. So, George.
Thank you very much. Alhaji, my name is George Johnson, I report for Pan African TV. Initially, I was finding it so difficult to understand the correlation between your flag bearer and why you're connecting her to some response made by the opposition NDC. But with your explanation, I'm through now. Now, my question is that, don't you think this your press conference will actually spark up another debate, possibly resulting to some insult to your flag bearer, looking at the current state in which she is? That's one. Two, you are asking Ghanaians to disregard the report by our colleague from other media station, that's Star FM, about the report that they submitted. Is this your concern? Is the concern actually coming from the camp of your flag bearer or the party's position that you are asking us to reject or debunk that particular report? Because you in your submission you did mention that you are yet to meet her and then look at what exactly is going to happen. My question, I just want to find out whether if this is coming from the NDP as a political party or from the woman herself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me...
Because of time, please make it brief. Okay, please.
My name is Joseph Armstrong. I work with TA3. First of all, let me find out from you, these words, or this speech you just read to us, is it something that the former First Lady played a role in? Because you said a lot of things that suggest that President Rawlings said, such as he said he cannot wait to see Mahama lose the upcoming election. And this is something that Rawlings is not here to attest to whether he said it or not. Now, let me also ask you this one, quick one. Alhaji, Rawlings believed in social justice. He stood for this country in the most difficult times when this country went through a lot. He stood for the NDC, signed with his blood, brought the NDC into being, but you left the NDC and formed a new political party. The Mahama and others that you accuse today are still with the NDC, fighting what Rawlings stood for, but you left. Now Rawlings is no more. The Mahama and Co. organized a vigil. We did not see you. We saw Rawlings' son. We saw the daughters grace that occasion. You did not show up. Are we going to see you join the NDC after December 7th election? Thank you.
Could you please make it brief for us? My brother, don't take the word of myself. Alaji, my name is Kojo Agyemang. I work with City News. Alaji, I want to find out from you. You are a great politician, and for that matter, an experienced one. Between the NDC and the NPP, which one is best positioned to implement the ideals of the founder of the NDC? Number one. Number two, this campaign the NDP is on may affect the fortunes and the chances of the flag bearer's daughter who is contesting, who is seeking re-election in the Klote-Kole constituency. So if you are here declaring that NDP supporters should follow, seemingly the governing New Patriotic Party.
No, don't make that mention.
Hold on. Okay, you're asking NDP followers to desert the NDC and then
come to NDP.
Good. Wouldn't this affect the fortunes of Dr. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings? If you say the mother is your founder, and then for that matter, by and large, you want the best for her children.